Is it possible for you to pursue your creative dream and hold down a full-time job? And why does so often it feel like you're wasting your time when you try? In this video, I'm going to unpack that, share 3 of the realizations that I've personally encountered and helped other creatives through, and I'm going to give you a framework to be able to take away and work on. But let's start with the hard truth. There are not enough hours in the day. I don't mean that we don't all have 24 hours and some people are able to make it happen and some people aren't. But you are a creative. And if you're anything like me, your mind explodes with ideas and possibilities, projects, collaborations, new things that you could get involved in if you just had the time, the energy and the resources. Okay, let's dive into that like a little bit. You get to the end of your day, your work day, you close your laptop, take a deep breath, you're ready to walk away. And, you know, as adults, as parents, we've got so much going on, even in the rest of our day. It's not as easy as just going, oh, for the next 3 hours, I'm going to work on my project. I go downstairs and the dogs want my attention, the kids want to tell me about their day, my wife's found an amazing property that we should buy or go and stay in on Instagram and she wants to show me that, or something else has come up and we need to figure that out. And then there's keeping the house tidy, making dinner, walking the dogs, doing your best to stay fit and healthy and get out for exercise. All of those things are kind of flooding into the rest of our day, even after we've got our work done. I think it's really important to remember that it's in that moment, it's in that time, we need to remember that part of what we're doing and what we're working for is all of those things. Like, I love being a father, I love having dogs, I love hearing my wife being excited about what she's discovered and what she's found out. But you still have a glimmer of hope that you'll be able to find a moment later on in the evening to be able to get back into something creative. And then bedtimes happen, maybe you kind of sit down and watch an episode on Netflix, and later on you're going, okay, I can still do this, I can still fit it in, and you're starting to squeeze later on to the evening. You might sit down, you might try something, and then suddenly it's getting later again and you're going to bed late. And then you still have to get up on time to get the kids out the door to school, to get to work, and get back into the next day. Then we're getting tired. And like me, I'm like, okay, well, I'll just have an extra cup of coffee. Cue prop, hang on. And I'll start to, kind of drink some more coffee. And then later on today, I might have a little slump and I might have to have a nap because I'm an early bird and a night owl. I'm just pretty sleepy between like 2 and 4 in the afternoon. And I often take a nap. But that's when I've got meetings, when there's calls to take care of, that isn't ideal. And it doesn't always happen. And then I push myself later on in the day and, drink more coffee and drink it later than I should. And then again, that has a knock-on effect of you spiraling the whole situation, because then I can stay up later, but then I'm getting less sleep. I'm waking up in the middle of the night. And I still want to get up early. I still, need to make sure all the things happen first thing. And after a couple of days of that, then I'm starting to get cranky. I'm starting to get really tired and I'm cranky with the family and I have less emotional energy. I'm unable to, deal with some of the things that come up and maybe I overreact. I definitely do. And then by the end of the day, when I'm thinking about anything creative, I've got no energy or capacity left to sit down and make something creative, whether that's making music, editing videos, writing scripts for YouTube videos, whatever that looks like, I'm feeling less and less productive. And then I'm starting to feel a bit down. And then tomorrow, maybe I'll be reaching in the fridge middle of the afternoon for a beer because I don't have the capacity to deal with me wanting to do all these things, all the things on my to-do list that are starting to pile up. And now what do? It's such a slippery slope. Because all of these things start piling up and I still have this desire, this push for a sense of creativity in my life. I still want it there. I still want to express myself in many different ways. And it's not happening. But then maybe I'm not doing my best work. Maybe I'm making excuses. Maybe the timelines and deadlines are slipping for that and I'm not delivering on time, and then I'm having to make excuses on that and spend my evenings catching up on work that I could have gotten done during my productive hours. It all just starts to feel a bit like an avalanche starting to roll down the hill. Is anyone still tracking with you, or is this just me? Am I just the crazy creative who can't connect with it? Or does that line up with some of what you feel like when you try to juggle all those balls at once, keep all those plates spinning? What's the solution? Okay, I have a plan, and it involves the 3 realizations that I've come across as I've journeyed through this in my own corporate work while trying to keep creative plates spinning in the evening and on the weekend. And I've seen it again and again with the creatives that I coach towards a more fulfilling creative life. Also, there's a link in the description where if you fill in your details, I'll email you a quick resource and a video explaining it on how to spark creativity in your week. Okay, I promise it'll help. Okay, realization 1. The guilt you feel just proves that you deeply care about what is important. You deeply care about that creativity, about bringing new things into the world, in pursuing your creative goals and dreams. And that's great. That's really important. But it's not there to derail you. So you have to get over yourself a little bit. And one of the first things that I recommend is make sure you're looking after yourself. Okay, so that involves, for me, I need to plan to be in bed for the minimum of 8 hours a day. So if I know what time I'm getting up in the morning, I'm going to bed 8 hours before that. Not with my phone, not trying to read a book, to actually get in bed and sleep. Okay? And I'm really doing my best to figure this out. And I'm talking about I've been somebody who's been a chronic, only getting a regular 4 to 5 hours sleep. You know, it's been bad, but I'm getting closer. Like I'm at the stage where I'm getting over 6 hours. When we sleep, when we rest, we have more energy during the day. We have more emotional stability. I need less naps. I'm more able to deal with the chopping and changing of life that comes up, and that can only be a good thing. So for me, start with rest and start with sleep. Next thing I'm going to suggest is try start your day in a more gentle way. Even if that just means you're able to get up 10 or 15 minutes earlier, make yourself a cup of tea or coffee, a glass of water, and spend a few moments with yourself. Whether that's petting your dogs, gently waking up the family, looking out the window. For me, I love to sit on the couch and journal. So I'm able to process a little bit of what's going on, whether that's emotional, whether that's work, and whether that's financial burdens, or whether I'm actually knitting together the creative ideas that I've been thinking about. Another thing I'd like to encourage you to try is intentional context switching. So when you're finishing work for the day, or even for lunch, that you're going to close your laptop, you're going to make time for lunch, make time to step away, take a nice deep breath, or 2 or 3, and walk away and go, okay, I'm going to come back to this later, or I'm going to come back to this tomorrow. Step away. Don't eat your lunch at your desk. Go have it somewhere else. Have it with somebody else if you can. Like for myself and my wife, we often have lunch together or make it together and sit down and talk about some of the things we're doing. And it's just a way to release the pressure a little bit, and it helps. Another thing that you can try is when you're finished, tidy up your space. Like clean it up, put things away. If you've got tools you're working on, put them away so that when you come back to the space, it's set up and it's at least bare and blank so you can start the next project or the next idea. Sometimes I find it really helpful to change my clothes. So I'm going, okay, I'm now going to do something else. And changing your clothes just helps to switch that context. So those things can help you to reset and be ready for whatever's next. My second realization is that you can't be productive 100% of the time, regardless of how many social media posts you see on TikTok, LinkedIn, or Instagram telling you that hustle, 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 go, go, go. That might be effective in the entrepreneur world. I still think you're going to end up burnt out and drained. But when you're a creative, there are so many different threads that are weaving new ideas and new thoughts and pulling things together, that you actually need space for rest. You need space for contemplation. You need space to play and to explore. And I think that that's really important to allow for that to happen. So you can't pack all of your day and every one of your evenings with, a super tight schedule. Yes, I think it's helpful to plan. I think it's helpful to be intentional. But I also think that you can't do it if you're drained. So make time for that exploration. There's going to be steps in the guide, which I'll email and you can download, where you can unpack that a bit more. And the third realization is that every system is dependent on its input. So if you put garbage in, you get garbage out. You put quality in, you're going to get quality out. How are you feeding your creative soul, your creative heart, your creative mind? Is it just the endless doom scroll? Is it constant Netflix binges? Or are you able to take time to read books that are going to feed you? Are you going to be able to step out into the world and watch amazing movies and films? Can you spend time with other creatives who inspire you? Do you get time to go to art galleries or libraries to explore new ideas and be intentional about it? Are you able to travel and explore other cultures? You don't have to travel far. Just to give you an example, last Friday, the kids were off school because their teachers were having a training day. So we decided to go into town. We went to this wonderful museum in the centre of the city, which is called the Chester Beatty Library. And it's his own personal collection that he's donated to the Irish state of all of these wonderful maps and books and lots of Asian artifacts. There's explorations of early Christianity, Islam, Muslim, Buddhism. There's all these kind of old books, and it's a wonderful way to kind of get your mind out of the day-to-day that you normally see. We followed that up with going to a brand new Korean supermarket and checking out all of the noodles and snacks and ordering food and just having a little sort of another experience. We ended up in a new Chinese restaurant that serves Hong Kong wonton noodles. We had this Asian experience just going into our city centre and spending a couple hours in this mindset. We didn't have to fly for 12 hours to get to Korea, Japan, China. We were able to do it really quickly in our own city. And that's just a really simple way in which you can step outside of your little bubble and go and explore something else. And other than paying for the food, the rest of it was free. And then it's really important to reflect and process all of those connections and notice what is coming up for you. Notice what's been triggered and what's been brought up in your mind. And after taking care of some of those simple steps, if you can make space to fan the flame of those little sparks of ideas and creativity and allow them to burst forth into something worthwhile, you're going to have new fuel for your creative fire. Okay, I hope that helped. Let me know in the comments what you've explored, where you've been, how you fill up your creative tank. I'll see you next time. Okay, bye.